General Hospital spoilers reveal that now that the truth about Giovanni "Gio" Palmieri has been revealed, in comes the storyline aftermath as confrontations, face-offs, and tears take center stage. The one big thing about Gio being revealed as Brooklyn Quartermain Chase's and Dante Falconeri's son is that it affects so many characters on canvas that span across three major families in Port Charles: the Quartermains, the Corinthos clan, and the Falconeris. Below are three unexpected twists that are sure to floor fans as everyone affected digests the news about Gio. GH fans know that things must be messed up if Tracy Quartermain becomes the voice of reason for any situation, right? All joking aside, General Hospital spoilers suggest that Gio will likely pack his bags during the Tuesday, May 27 show and attempt to move out of the Quartermain mansion. After everything he's learned, it may be all too much for him to stay under the same roof as the very people who betrayed it. It's hard to know exactly what Gio thinks and feels right now. He believes that Brooklyn and Dante didn't want to, but he doesn't know the whole story. A clip from Tuesday's show suggests that as he and Emma Scorpio Drake attempt to leave the Q mansion, Tracy may stop him. Tracy may be the one to explain to Gio that while he may feel betrayed, and he has every right to his feelings, many people who live in the Q mansion had no idea he was related to them, including herself, who do want him around. She has grown a bond with Gio, not knowing they were blood related, and may convince the young man to stay put so they can continue to get close. Could he move into the gatehouse so that he's still on Q property but can have his privacy? While Brooklyn doesn't deserve to be shut out, she was the one to decide to give Gio up for adoption. While she didn't know Gio was her son while growing up in Bensonhurst, and some may argue that Lois Cerullo convinced Brooklyn that adoption was the only way, she was the one who okayed the whole thing at the end of the day. Gio and Dante's relationship has been tense lately, but as Dante was completely out of the loop, will the young man allow his dad into his heart? Will Gio be more open to building a relationship and bond with Dante versus Brooklyn? Dante could reason that he never knew about Brooklyn's pregnancy and was never given a choice. Will Gio listen? Gio and Emma Scorpio Drake have been teetering on a romance for a few weeks now. Both are smitten, and while they've established a nice friendship, there's nothing like drama to help bring two people together. Emma rushed to Gio's side after his scene on stage at the nurses' ball and will continue to support him. So will these two solidify a romance in the process? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. It seems that General Hospital decided to be a proper soap this week, and we couldn't be happier. Not only did the week begin with a good old-fashioned soap opera catfight, it also ended with a massive reveal and a major return. How's that for a soaping? So many times over the last few years, GH has dropped the ball when it came to long storyline payoffs, but not this time. What we saw during the last few days was everything a soap should be and took us back to those massive ballroom soap reveals of the 1980s, where everyone was dressed to the nines, ready for a good time, only to have someone drop the bombshell of the year on the whole town. That's exactly what happened at the nurses' ball, even if it didn't quite play out the way we envisioned it. Instead, it was even better and more than we could have hoped for. All because of a young man named Gio on screen and off. Who could have imagined a year ago that a never-before-heard-of Cerullo cousin from the old neighborhood near the Verrazano Bridge would be one of the two Quartermain Corinthos offspring who would make this year's nurses' ball one of the most memorable ever? We had been waiting for this reveal for months on end and felt the nurses' ball was the appropriate place for it to happen. However, we didn't expect it because of too many letdowns over the last few years when the perfect setup was there for something and General Hospital chose not to take it. By the time the ball started, we were sure it wouldn't happen because it seemed that too many layers had not yet been peeled back. We just assumed that Dante would learn he had a son and want to find him, so Lulu would get the definitive proof by swiping some hair strands and running a DNA test. Even when Lulu first approached Lois backstage and Lois blew her off, we thought we'd be seeing Lulu with a series of near misses for at least a week. But nope, within 20 minutes of that moment, all of Port Charles knew that Gio was Brooke Lynn and Dante's son. The GH writing team deserves a ton of credit for how this played out, but so does Giovanni Mazza, whose Emmy-worthy performance aired on his 20th birthday. After absolutely stunning the Port Charles and living room audiences with his performance of Glow, an original piece written by Mazza when he was just 12 years old, Gio was on an emotional high as he prepared to take the stage again to play violin as Chase and Anna danced the tango. When he overheard the truth about his parentage through the dressing room door, we were sure he would never make it on stage for his next number. But he had to play, and the show had to go on. Too bad he couldn't do it, no matter how hard he tried. It was an epic moment indeed when he dedicated his performance to the parents he thought didn't want him before suddenly smashing his violin to bits, stunning the father who didn't know he existed and the mother who didn't know he was her son. And that's how you do it, folks. That's how to soap. Lulu and Lois are both in the hot seat, except not too many people know Lulu's role in this mess yet. However, they all know Lois was the maestro behind the whole thing. As Olivia said, she was the first one to run from the ballroom after Gio's meltdown. It all started making sense to Sunny, too. This is why Lois introduced him to this random kid she had taken in. He was his grandson. Thanks to Lulu, Lois knew the whole thing was about to blow up in her face, so she did her best to get Brooke Lynn out of there before it did. Good thing Brooke Lynn refused to go, or Lois would have missed quite an emotional moment from her favorite grandson. It's hard to feel sympathy for Lois here. While her Brooklyn charm is everything this Brooklyn native writer needs to feel right at home watching GH, the woman royally screwed up. First, if she really wanted to keep this secret, why would she move Gio into the Q mansion? That was certainly playing with fire. Since Gio had been living in Monica's house, Lois had ample opportunity to tell the truth, but she just compounded her lies. You would think her little trip to Bensonhurst would have put things in perspective for her, but nope. Lois just kept on lying, and when Brooke Lynn reads her for filth on Tuesday, we will enjoy every second of it. The one person missing from this entire reveal who really should have been there was Tracy. We don't care if GH thought it would be fun to see her be arrested on the red carpet. Since the reveal was planned, they could have waited till next year's ball. We're sure there's always a reason to put her in cuffs. This was her third arrest this year already. Tracy and Jason can have monogrammed his and her chairs in the interrogation room at this point. Tracy should have been in that ballroom for that reveal, snapping at everyone in the aftermath, and reading Lois for filth like only Tracy can. We know we will see plenty of fallout with Tracy next week, but seeing the look on her face when Gio made his announcement and smashed his violin was a missed opportunity for a perfect Jane Elliott reaction shot. Wait. Another massive story had a huge, unexpected moment at the end of the ball. GA, you spoil us. After watching Willow parade down the red carpet and around the ball in her scarlet red dress that should have had an A on it, it was only fitting that she would end the night devastated. It couldn't have happened to a nicer delusional gal. This dimwit was so very confident that she could paint her severely burned husband as a deadbeat dad when he was undergoing treatment cause Drew said so. Seeing him walk in and just take his son home with barely a glance in her direction had to sting. Good. She deserved that sting. Thanks to the soap opera rumor mill, we pretty much knew all week that Michael would appear at the end of the ball, but we figured he'd just walk out on stage to surprise all. Having Wiley spot him at the end of the kid-inspired final was an excellent touch. We're not done with secrets revealed this week, or at least half secrets. Curtis finally knows that Drew has been blackmailing his wife and what he has on her. However, he does not yet know that Portia made things even worse by plotting to drug Drew with ketamine. No, for now, Curtis is just mad that he was lied to again. We all know Curtis can't stand women who lie and keep secrets. However, that does not stop him from lying to women and keeping secrets. We can think of two right off the bat. Portia has no idea that her husband was letting Selena Wu run an illegal backroom poker game out of his nightclub for years. She also has no clue that Curtis kissed Jordan and propositioned his ex-wife while married to Portia. We bet she finds these two tidbits of information to be quite fascinating if someone should ever tell her. Christina also learned a secret. Alexis and Sonny's nutjob daughter is now aware that Lucky isn't the only person who knows she cut the brakes on Rick's car. Not only does Alexis know, but so do Rick and Ava. Christina and Alexis didn't even make it to the ball despite being all dressed, but we don't think Alexis even cares at this point. She got to learn that Christina is more insane than she imagined. When she said she meant to cut Ava's brakes, not Rick's, Alexis nearly lost her mind. We are surprised she didn't grab that dagger out of her desk and put herself out of her misery by going after Christina herself. You know damn well she was thinking, "You took the wrong one, God. Give me back my Sam." Oh, right. The Nurses' Ball is also a variety show. We get to see our favorite Port Charles pals sing and dance for charity. With all the drama and chaos, we forgot we also watched a pseudo-musical this week. So without further ado, our photo review. The opening number was performed by the nursing staff, as usual, with Dr. Isaiah Gannon joining them. It just seemed weird without Elizabeth and Felix there. Bradford Anderson showed off his musical theater training in fine form while singing "These Boots Were Made for Walking," but this was supposed to be Tracy's number, so we were sad we didn't get to see her. However, watching Lucy, Anna, and Felicia as the backup dancers was perfection. It was nice to see Chase break out his rock star persona again, singing lead vocals for "The Look of Love." Dante and Cody were on backup, and we couldn't help but chuckle. We also wondered where Magic Milo and the Magic Wands were. Without fail, the best performance of the night was Gio performing "Glow" on the violin before his entire life fell apart. Bravo! Joss and Trina have been best friends since they were kids, and we have watched them grow into beautiful young women. Seeing them perform a song about friendship with so much passion and emotion was just lovely. The Nurses' Ball usually ends with Nurse Epiphany Johnson singing a rousing rendition of "You're Not Alone." Since both Epiphany and Sumya Eddy have sadly passed, it was only appropriate that GH start a new tradition this year with Donna, Wiley, Georgie, Scout, and James singing "I'll Be There," because the legacy children are indeed our soap future. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Michael Corinthos' explosive return changes everything now, especially where his custody battle for Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos is concerned. Michael was quick to swoop in at the end of the 2025 Nurses' Ball, grab Wiley after his cuter-than-cute kids performance, and jet out before Willow take Corinthos, or Drew Kane could do anything about it. GH spoilers indicate that during the week of May 26 to 30, Michael will take the kids to Carly Spencer's house. It seems as if Amelia will be waiting for Michael and Wiley at her Grandma Carly's for a sleepover, and the kids are slated to have a ton of fun, reuniting with their dad and his side of the family. As the days go by, Michael will make his reunion rounds, reconnecting with family, friends, and loved ones as everyone celebrates his major comeback. One person he's set to chat with is his undercover baby mama, Sasha Corbin. Preview photos for next week have surfaced, as Michael will catch up with Sasha at the Quartermain mansion. In addition, General Hospital spoilers imply that he'll also have a favor to ask. Sasha and Jason Morgan have worked overtime covering up Michael and Sasha's one-night stand, that resulted in the baby bump she's carrying right now. They've been going around telling people that Jason is Sasha's baby daddy, even though they and Michael know the truth. With that said, one look at the preview photo from next week, and Sasha lovingly staring into Michael's eyes, and it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out about these two. Still, there's doubt Michael will ask Sasha to keep quiet about their one-night fling that happened while he was still with Willow. The cards are stacked against Drew and Willow right now, especially with Michael back in the picture and ready for his June 2 court date. Drew and Willow will try to paint Michael as an absentee father, but the truth is, the moment he got back on his feet, he was quick to gather his children and take charge, so this argument won't have a leg to stand on, especially in light of Drew and Willow's recent scandals. However, General Hospital spoilers remind fans that if the truth about Michael being the father of Sasha's baby were to come out, this would blow everything out of the water. As Willow wants sole custody of the kids, there's a ton at stake. Fans of ABC's General Hospital may soon see less of Cameron Matheson, the actor who portrays Drew Kane. Since joining the show in 2021, Matheson's version of Drew, Jason Morgan's long-lost twin, has provided viewers with intense drama, emotional depth, and unexpected turns. While Jason has traditionally been portrayed as the beloved anti-hero, Drew's storyline has taken a more tumultuous path. Unlike Jason, whose life often aligns with law enforcement and mob loyalty, Drew's past is riddled with manipulation and control by others. At times, he was used as a weapon, a literal killing machine, due to mind control. Still, his return to Port Charles brought a compelling emotional arc, particularly in the wake of Jason's disappearance. Drew stepped up during Jason's absence, offering emotional support to Carly when she was at her lowest. His genuine care touched Carly deeply, leading to a brief romantic relationship between the two. However, as many fans noticed, their chemistry eventually faded, and the couple called it quits. The reasons for the breakup remain vague, and it's clear that both Drew and Carly are undergoing personal transformations. Meanwhile, Cameron Matheson's professional journey is expanding. It was recently announced that he will be hosting Game Show Network's new series Beat the Bridge. Known for his charm, versatility, and on-screen presence, Matheson seems like a natural fit for this exciting hosting opportunity. His new role highlights his multifaceted talent, not only as an actor, but also as a polished and engaging host. Balancing both acting and hosting is no small feat, and this new commitment has sparked speculation about his future on General Hospital. While there's been no official announcement, rumors are swirling that Matheson may be stepping back, or even leaving the show entirely to focus on his new project. Hosting a nationally televised game show will demand a significant portion of his time and energy. For now, Drew's storyline on General Hospital appears to be losing momentum. He's no longer romantically involved with Carly, which has made his presence on the canvas less prominent. Additionally, with Jason Morgan's return to Port Charles, many characters and much of the audience have shifted their focus back to him. As Jason takes center stage once again, Drew's narrative has gradually faded into the background. Though Matheson's potential exit may not drastically affect ongoing storylines, many fans have expressed sadness over the possibility. Drew's time on the show has provided heartfelt moments and powerful performances. Still, viewers understand that balancing two high-profile roles may ultimately require Matheson to make a difficult choice. On a recent episode of General Hospital, tensions escalated as Michael Corinthos dropped a devastating truth that shattered Willow's relationship with Drew and further complicated Nina's standing in her daughter's life. What began as a quiet custody concern quickly evolved into a painful personal reckoning for Willow, shaking her trust in two of the people closest to her. After months of recovery from the explosion at Sunny's house, Michael returned to Port Charles with renewed clarity, and a quiet determination to protect his children, Wiley and Amelia. Initially, Michael had no intention of reigniting tensions with Willow over custody. However, as he observed from a distance, unease grew regarding the environment his children were living in, particularly under Drew's influence. Despite a calm exterior, Michael was harboring explosive evidence. He had obtained a video, the origins of which remain unclear, showing an intimate encounter between Drew and Nina. Though the act took place before Drew and Willow were officially together, it happened during a period when Drew was significantly involved in Willow's life. Neither Drew nor Nina had disclosed this to Willow, a fact that turned the situation from a mere lapse in judgment into a profound betrayal. Rather than confront Drew or blackmail Nina, Michael opted to speak directly to Willow. In a private meeting, free from legal or familial interference, he showed her the video. Willow, expecting a conversation about co-parenting, was blindsided by what she saw. The footage needed no explanation. It was undeniable and deeply painful. Her emotional collapse was immediate. Willow's trust in Drew and Nina unraveled instantly. Drew had vowed honesty. Nina had pleaded for a chance at redemption, but their silence spoke volumes. Michael clarified that his motive wasn't revenge. He believed Willow deserved the truth, and their children deserved transparency. That same evening, Willow ended her relationship with Drew. Although he tried to justify the past encounter with Nina as a meaningless mistake that predated his commitment to Willow, it was too late. Willow called him out for the deception and emotional manipulation, her quiet but firm tone signaling the end. Drew's offers to withdraw from the custody case or even leave Port Charles went unanswered. Willow simply closed the door. The fallout didn't stop there. The next day, Nina visited Willow, unaware of what had transpired. When confronted, Nina offered no denial, only silence. Willow, deeply hurt, severed ties completely. Though she promised politeness during Nina's visits with the children, she firmly declared that Nina was no longer her mother. Meanwhile, Michael quietly dealt with the emotional weight of his actions. He didn't take satisfaction in Willow's heartbreak, but believed she had the right to the truth. Their interactions since the confrontation have been more open, filled with small, meaningful moments, laughter with the children, quiet companionship, and mutual respect. Michael hasn't asked Willow to reconcile, but her simple words, "Thank you for telling me the truth," hinted at a possible shift in their fractured bond. GH viewers have been shipping Gio and Emma from the very moment Brunner debuted in Port Charles. When Emma came home on Christmas Eve, she ran into Gio and pulled him into one of her vigilant schemes. Now, the pair of 20-somethings have become good friends, turning to each other in times of need. Emma went to Gio when she learned she didn't get the summer job with Professor Dalton, while Gio confided in Emma when he beat himself up over how he handled the drunken Rocco situation. Although they're not actually dating, many viewers hope they'll make Gemma official soon. Gio and Emma have fiery chemistry. One fan shared, using a fire emoji and a beaker emoji. Gio and Emma are the best soap couple I've seen in years, another gushed. Those two got nothing on Gemma, commented another, referring to the rival days super couple. After the roller coaster relationship that was Holly and Tate, to Salem came Doug IE, the grandson of one half of the Salem's ultimate super couple, Doug. The moment Holly found out that Doug IE stole Julie's necklace, rather than berating him, she saw past his dastardly deed and agreed to help him. Holly's kindness led to Doug IE falling for her, but when he came clean about his feelings, she broke it to him that she wasn't interested. While the two remain friends, now that Holly has ended things with Tate for good, it may only be a matter of time before she gives it a try with Doug IE. Unless Ari meets him first. Holly and Doug, for sure, they are the winning couple, one day's fan asserted, while others were quick to note Dolly's chemistry. Holly and Doug before Gaby's daughter gets into town, a viewer said, while another admitted, Of course, love Holly and Doug, not Tate, he's a whiny brat. After tallying up your comments, the winning super couple is GA's Gio and Emma. Michael's quiet return to Port Charles was meant to mark a new beginning, a chance to reconnect with his children, Wiley and Amelia, and rebuild his life away from past turmoil. However, what started as a hopeful homecoming quickly unraveled into a dramatic chain of revelations that shook the foundation of his family. Upon his arrival, Michael found himself at the center of Tracy Quartermain's long-brewing conflict with Drew Kane. Once allies, Tracy had been betrayed and publicly humiliated by Drew during the nurses' ball, where she was arrested for drug possession in a setup she believed was orchestrated by him. Rather than react impulsively, Tracy plotted a methodical path to clear her name and take Drew down. Her plan hinged on one crucial element: Michael. Seen as a symbol of integrity and resilience by the Port Charles community, Michael was the perfect figure to expose Drew's misconduct. Tracy strategically spent time with Wiley, gathering emotional testimony about Drew's manipulation and emotional neglect. Wiley's memories painted a painful picture of a boy who longed for his father and suffered under Drew's version of tough love. Tracy documented every confession, every tearful recollection, and every drawing Wiley had made for Michael. But Tracy had more than just Wiley's testimony. She possessed irrefutable evidence of an affair between Drew and Nina, security footage, receipts, and witness accounts that revealed a pattern of deception at the core of Drew's relationship with Willow. The affair had taken place while Drew was courting Willow, shattering any illusion of his honesty and commitment. Tracy presented the full dossier to Michael, framing it not as a weapon of revenge, but as a means of protecting the children and uncovering the truth. After a night of deep reflection, Michael submitted all the evidence at a family court hearing. He acted not out of vengeance, but from a sense of moral responsibility as a father. The courtroom fell into silence as the footage of the affair and recordings of Wiley's emotional pain were presented. Drew's credibility crumbled, and Willow, devastated, walked out without a word. The judge ruled decisively, revoking all of Drew's custody and visitation rights and issuing a restraining order. Nina also faced severe consequences. She was suspended indefinitely from her role at Crimson following a federal ethics investigation and a damning expose detailing her history of unethical behavior and manipulation. Her public image was irreparably damaged. For Willow, the betrayal was crushing. After surviving cancer and working to rebuild her life, she now faced the collapse of the two most important relationships she had recently fought to preserve. In a public statement, she ended all ties with Drew and Nina, designating Michael as the sole guardian of Wiley and Amelia. Port Charles was left reeling. The town had once supported Drew and Nina, viewing their relationship as a symbol of redemption. Now, they were forced to confront the darker reality behind their polished facades. As Drew vanished from public life and Nina faced professional and personal ruin, Tracy emerged victorious. Her calculated moves not only vindicated her but also reshaped the family's future. In the end, she stood as a figure of resilience and strategy, a woman who dared to fight for truth at any cost. The emotional landscape of General Hospital takes a dramatic turn as Lulu's return from her long coma stirs hidden feelings, ignites past conflicts, and destabilizes relationships across Port Charles. Cody finds himself overwhelmed by an unexpected emotional resurgence the moment Lulu awakens. Although his relationship with Molly once promised a steady and rational future, Cody can't ignore the powerful, almost instinctive connection he feels with Lulu. Her vulnerability and resilience awaken a dormant part of him, one that desires to protect, connect, and truly feel again. As Lulu begins to regain fragmented memories, she reaches out not to Dante, her former partner, but to Cody, signaling a profound shift in emotional allegiance. Cody's increasing involvement in Lulu's recovery process is more than just compassionate support. It becomes a central part of his daily life. Despite the guilt he feels toward Molly, Cody cannot distance himself from Lulu. Their bond deepens quietly but powerfully, built on shared silence, subtle gestures, and an intimacy that eclipses his connection with Molly. The emotional pull becomes undeniable, leading Cody to question everything he once thought he wanted. Meanwhile, Dante faces a difficult reckoning. As he observes Cody and Lulu's growing closeness, he's forced to confront the reality that he may no longer be the anchor in Lulu's life. Her immediate recognition of Cody, upon waking, underscores a heartbreaking truth: his role has been quietly usurped. This realization doesn't stem from jealousy, but from the pain of being replaced and forgotten in the emotional landscape of someone he once loved deeply. Brooklyn, too, finds herself grappling with emotional insecurity. Despite Chase's love and patience, she can't shake the suspicion that something is shifting. Chase's lingering glances and subtle changes in behavior when Lulu is around suggest a growing attraction. What once felt like a harmless fantasy now threatens to become a genuine emotional conflict. Brooklyn fears she is on the verge of losing someone she thought was finally hers, facing not just romantic competition, but unresolved emotional wounds from the past. Lulu's return acts as a catalyst, sparking deeper consequences beyond individual relationships. Carly and Tracy, two powerful women who have historically stood on opposing sides, find themselves united with a shared goal to keep Cody away from Lulu. Their motivations, however, are deeply personal and strategic. Tracy harbors guilt over a secret medical experiment from years ago, an unapproved neurological treatment that worsened Lulu's condition and led to her coma. A deepening relationship with Cody could trigger memories Tracy fought to bury, potentially exposing her past involvement and endangering her standing. Carly's concerns are rooted in family. With Dante being like a son to her, she fears that Lulu's renewed presence and attachment to Cody could unravel the fragile peace Dante has fought to build. More critically, Cody's emotional instability jeopardizes carefully planned political and business strategies Carly and Michael are orchestrating in the background. Michael's return to Port Charles, already fraught with tension and upheaval, adds urgency to their efforts. Behind the scenes, strategic moves are initiated. Tracy discreetly seeks access to Lulu's old medical records, aiming to contain any fallout that could surface as Lulu recovers her past. The power dynamics in Port Charles are shifting rapidly, and at the center of it all is a rekindled connection between two people whose bond defies reason. In a dramatic turn of events at General Hospital, Michael Corinthos reclaimed custody of his children, culminating a long and painful battle filled with emotional revelations, legal drama, and unflinching parental love. The pivotal moment began at the conclusion of the 2025 Nurses' Ball. As the event's final applause faded, Michael made a shocking appearance, locking eyes with his son Wiley and walking straight toward him. Without fanfare, Michael embraced the boy, reclaiming not only his child, but also his rightful place as a father. The reunion wasn't about spectacle, it was about survival, healing, and love. Elsewhere at the gala, Willow and Drew remained unaware of Michael's return, negotiating custody terms with Carly under false assumptions. But those assumptions crumbled the moment Michael exited with Wiley in his arms, leaving stunned silence in his wake. Back at Carly's home, humble, yet rich in emotional history, Wiley finally let his guard down. The child broke into sobs, revealing a history of quiet suffering. He spoke of confusion, emotional suppression, and being told to call Drew Dad despite longing for Michael. Michael listened in silence, absorbing every painful truth, his resolve only deepening. This deeply personal revelation drove Michael to act. Recognizing that custody was no longer just a legal matter, but a moral reckoning, he brought substantial evidence to court. Surveillance footage from Drew's home showed moments of emotional neglect and inappropriate discipline. A child psychologist's evaluation confirmed signs of anxiety, withdrawal, and dissociation in Wiley, further substantiated by his troubling drawings. Michael's court presentation was deliberate and factual. He didn't speak much, he let the truth stand on its own. In contrast, Willow's testimony felt scripted. She described routines and responsibilities, but failed to counter the emotional reality presented. Drew, too, leaned on logic, emphasizing stability during Michael's absence, but the court was not swayed. Ultimately, the judge granted Michael temporary sole custody of both Wiley and Amelia. Willow's parental role was placed under supervised visitation pending further evaluation, and Drew was denied independent guardianship. The ruling reflected the court's recognition that emotional well-being had been compromised under Willow and Drew's care. The aftermath was crushing for Willow. She remained seated in disbelief long after the courtroom had emptied, devastated not only by the loss, but by the clarity of her child's choice. Drew, standing beside her, could offer no comfort. Their united front had fractured. Michael, on the other hand, did not celebrate. Carrying his children out of the courthouse, he returned not to luxury, but to Carly's house, a place of comfort and grounding. That night, he quietly put his children to bed. Wiley refused to sleep alone, and Michael didn't object. They fell asleep together, finally safe. Carly, standing in the background, watched in silence. Her efforts, from advocating for Michael's return to pushing through legal channels, had led to this peaceful moment. She needed no gratitude. This fragile normalcy was her reward. As Michael held his child in the quiet of night, relief, rather than victory, settled over him. The legal battle may have ended, but the emotional work was just beginning. Still, for now, his children were safe, and that was enough. Port Charles is bracing for a major shift in power as tensions erupt between Drew Kane and Tracy Quartermaine. What began as Drew's quiet manipulation is quickly spiraling into a full-scale war, one that could dismantle his carefully cultivated image and destroy the influence he's worked so hard to maintain. Drew's growing overconfidence has led him to believe he can control people and events without consequence. But in underestimating Tracy, a formidable force in the Quartermaine legacy, he's made a critical error. Tracy is done playing passive. Her calculated response is not just personal revenge, it's a strategic campaign to dismantle Drew publicly, legally, and emotionally. Known for her precision and patience, Tracy is engineering a quiet yet powerful takedown. From leaked recordings to withdrawn support, her moves are subtle but devastating. Her objective: strip Drew of his public persona, the heroic businessman, devoted father, and reformed man, and expose the manipulative force he's become. Tracy's campaign is gaining traction. Former allies like Michael, Carly, and even Sonny are beginning to distance themselves from Drew. Michael's disillusionment stems from Drew's interference in his relationship with Willow, while Carly recognizes how her trust was exploited. Sonny, once indifferent, now questions the risks Drew brings to his children's futures. As these alliances shift, Willow begins to awaken to Drew's emotional manipulation. Once a source of support during her illness, Drew now feels more like an oppressive presence. Her quiet withdrawal is the turning point Tracy needs. Willow's departure could trigger the collapse of Drew's support network, causing his influence to unravel like a house of cards. Meanwhile, Jason Morgan is stepping out of the shadows. With evidence in hand and a renewed sense of purpose, Jason is prepared to challenge Drew head-on. His first move: seeking custody of Danny and Scout, ensuring they are no longer pawns in Drew's ambitions. Carly and Michael follow suit, working to reclaim Wee and Amelia, aiming to restore stability and shield the children from further manipulation. Together, Jason, Carly, and Michael form a united front, bonded by shared betrayal and a desire to protect their families. Each has endured Drew's schemes, and now they're determined to end his influence. As the truth about Drew spreads, his former supporters, Willow, Sam, Sunny, Curtis begin to pull away. Legal custody battles are just the beginning. The real blow is Drew's social and emotional isolation. His reputation as a reformed hero is collapsing, replaced by the image of a man consumed by control and deception. Drew lashes out in desperation, launching reckless counterattacks and reviving old secrets to sow division. But these moves only accelerate his downfall. Port Charles is no longer a place of quiet alliances. It's a battleground of values. One side fights for justice and truth, while the other clings to illusion. This isn't just a custody battle or a personal feud. It's a defining moment for the town. Drew, once admired, is now the symbol of betrayal. His refusal to change, to step back, or to see the damage he's caused is driving him toward total collapse. Tracy's rise isn't about nostalgia or revenge. It's a calculated reclaiming of power. Drew's fall, equally, is not due to a single betrayal, but the accumulation of missteps and arrogance. Port Charles is entering a new era where manipulation no longer wins, and Drew must finally face the consequences of the empire he built on lies. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.